After discovering the original silicone holding my sump together was failing, and just simply missing in some areas, it was time to make another. For this build, I am using ABS plastic and GE Silicone 1. I'll get into these later. The sump I am building is an old 10-gallon I had laying around from a previous project. It's still in great condition, I just had to remove some old silicone and clean it up a bit. I sketched up where I wanted the baffles and marked the glass with a marker where they would be silicone to. The marker is easily removed with a razor blade. I marked both the front and rear of the glass. Now that I have a layout of where I want the baffles, it's time to lay out the same design on the ABS plastic. The dimensions of the ABS sheet is 12 by 12 by 1/4 inch thick. With the dimensions transferred to the ABS plastic, it's time to cut them. First, I drill holes in the ABS, then I cut the remaining with a jigsaw. The holes aren't perfect, but I'll fix this later. I cut the rest of the ABS. I now have all of the ABS cut to my specifications. Since the baffle holes aren't perfect, I used a scrap piece of aluminum and wrapped sandpaper around it. It fits in the holes for easy sanding. That looks better. Since the bottom of the sump has rounded silicone, I rounded the bottom edges of the baffles. Let's test fit the baffles in the sump. All of the baffles fit perfectly. For the next step, I use tape to remove any excess silicone. I use Scotch Blue. It comes off easy and doesn't leave any residue behind. I leave around an 1/8 inch gap around where the baffles will live so the silicone will seal both glass and ABS. Now that everything is taped off, we start the silicone process. I first lay a thick bead of silicone where the ABS and glass meet. Using gloves, I use my finger to push in the connection and remove excess at the same time. Then I remove the tape to leave behind this great looking line of silicone. And just like that, the first 2 baffles are done. Now we move on to the last 2 baffles by repeating the same process. here are the finished baffles. I think it came out good. There are some areas where the silicone was applied too heavy, but it will not affect water flow at all, it's just aesthetic. I am also adding a frag rack to the inside of the sump. I cut 2 very small strips from the extra ABS. And then superglue that to the bottom of the inside baffles. Then I add a piece of egg crepe. I also made and added this. This will hold both of my heaters. And added these water height indicators for my tank sitter. Marking out and cutting the ABS took around 30 minutes. Adding silicone took around 20 minutes. The longest part of this build was waiting for the silicone to dry. There is heavy debate on whether the silicone will hold to the ABS plastic long term. I've had a piece of silicone ABS to my glass in my aquarium for over 10 years without any issues. So I don't think this sump will have any issues as far as the silicone not holding the baffles in place. Questions, comments, suggestions? Please post them below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button.